How's it going? It's Grant with the Garden of Eater. Tonight we're going to be talking about shrimp foods, what we use, what you could use, even some stuff from the grocery store. We're going to dive into it. Basis summary, anything without copper is pretty much fair game. Some seasonings, sugars, and saps and stuff like that we want to stay away from. But what exactly do we use, and some other things to keep in consideration? I've got a few great foods that are on my list that we don't even use. So lots of things to cover tonight. But first off, I want to jump right in. How's it going, Toot Dog? 2 years. Shelby was just saying today how we need to just move forward and maybe do something else, and get something for those who have been here with us for 2 years, because we've been waiting quite some time for something. So I'm pretty sure we got to get a little something out to you guys, because they almost got people that have been here for 3 years. So, Bob's been on the same time as us for a while. I think he had the time slot first. So it's all good. I usually notice when his stream kind of dives off, and then like Eric Wyrock will show up in the chat, and a couple others as well. So it's all good. We keep the first part of the chat all about shrimp. So I know all the hardcore shrimp keepers are in the chat with us tonight. So the best thing to feed shrimp is other shrimp. There is definitely some truth to that. I'm going to cover that for sure. And there was something else that I wanted. Oh, did I skip over it? Tube Dog with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much. Oats Aquatics, one of our greatest supporters, with the 5 gifted subs. Everyone who got one of those subs, you are entitled to a all-exclusive holographic TGOE shrimp sticker. As well, it's not really a shrimp sticker, but it is our sticker. We've got more stickers on the way, but you need to email us, because you also get a code with a 10% off to our website at tgoeshrimp.com. So you get 2 different things with the membership. And then if you're a membership for a year, you get an exclusive TGOE shrimp and Sam Scales green kiwi tie bee print. So it is worth staying around. We've got to do more things for just our exclusive only members. There's going to be some shrimp that are going to be coming out here shortly. Members always get first dibs on shrimp that are not currently on our website, that are talked about and ready in the future. All right. And then I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore. I only keep Neocaridina shrimp currently. However, I haven't dabbled into the Caridina world yet. Well, if you're here to learn about shrimp food, that's hardcore enough. Even just keeping Neocaridina. And thank you, Christy, for being pretty sure that is a renewal, and that you've been a member here before. Shelby keeps track of all that. So that is just my guess, but we see you here all the time. And how's it going, Vibes? Absolutely one of our greatest supporters, and I am highly looking forward to seeing him at Aquascaping Dallas in just another week here. Technically 2 weeks. But yeah, really looking forward to that, as well as Dr. Anthony will be coming by this weekend to speak for our club. Is it okay to feed your shrimp brine shrimp? It is on the list, actually. And yes, it is all right. And depending on how much water changes you actually do, you might not even need to rinse it out. So there's a lot of different foods that I'll be covering and going over tonight. But I thought I'd start off with, what should they be eating the most, right? And the most easiest answer on what the shrimp should be eating is biofilm. That should be about 60% of their diet. They're going to be munching on this just about all day, all night, nonstop. they're not just going to be grazing for biofilm. They're going to get other microorganisms and other different types of like breakdown of plants and decay of algae and all other little types of things. They're also going to be eating their own molts, other shrimp's molts. That's going to give them a lot of chitin back into their diet, lots of nutrition out of eating their molts. So you want to make sure you don't keep out the molts. But back to biofilm, right? What exactly is biofilm? Well, biofilm is that little tiny white film that grows over everything. For the most part, it's invisible. If you left a glass of water out, and a clear glass would have been a lot better for the demonstration, but if you just left that glass out, as long as there's light, in an hour, there's going to be biofilm that's growing inside your glass of water. Is it healthy for us and stuff like that? I don't know all the details to that, but biofilm is pretty much everywhere. It's growing on everything that's aquatic with life in it. And shrimp love to graze it. But the best visual of biofilm is when you buy a new piece of wood, you stick it in the tank, and it's got that white fuzz growing all over it. That is basically biofilm on steroids. There's other products like Bacter AE that you could feed to increase your biofilm growth. And I like that product. Maybe if you have to rush a cycle on your shrimp tank and set it up early, then biofilm and Bacter AE, that's a good way to build it up. But if you have a healthy running tank, the best way to establish more biofilm other than proper lighting is to make more surface area. So if you add a piece of wood, add some rocks, lots of nooks and crannies, the more surface area, basically, the more biofilm that's going to grow. And that's going to be the healthiest source of food for your shrimp. They're going to be munching on that all day long. Do you even need to feed your shrimp? Not necessarily if you don't have a lot of shrimp and you've got plenty of biofilm and stuff like that. However, eventually your population is going to get to a point where it's going to outcompete the biofilm that's growing on it all the time, right? And there won't be enough food for more individuals to join the colony. And what happens is generally when a shrimp freshly molts and it is a little bit squishy, it's a little bit weaker, some of the other shrimp might predate on it and eat it if you're not feeding your shrimp appropriately. So I would say you don't want to go more than like 2 months without feeding your shrimp. You're definitely going to start losing more than a couple shrimp for every baby, like 30 babies that are being born at that rate. So any less than 2 months, and I'm always saying I'm still getting more babies than I have shrimp that are dying off. So I believe Shelby has it on the records or on Facebook members, and even if you stop paying and pick it back up, it shows on your YouTube account. So as long as you didn't change accounts, it'll show it. How come bottled water doesn't get algae in the store? I believe it's because there's a small amount of chlorine or chloramine that's in it. There's like an appropriate level that the government says is safe for us still. So, but yeah, I believe that's correct. I might be wrong. There might be something else in it that's causing it not to get it. But I also like haven't left the water bottle outside like indefinitely to see if it doesn't eventually grow water, but I don't know. Because it's sealed, maybe there's no microorganisms that can culture the inside of the bottle. I'm not sure on that. Is there a way of knowing if some leaves have issues? I had spinach and the neos started moving in the tank. In the morning, a few were dead. So generally speaking, what I do is I get a large amount of leaves and I kind of just let them soak overnight. I don't really boil them. If you boil them, you kind of ruin some of the nutrients on them. And generally speaking, if they're bad, there's usually like a little film on top of the water. Some of the pesticides or fertilizer that's left inside will wash up to the top. Um, Spinach, though, I'm not sure how much you fed. The other thing is, if you feed too much, right, and then the leaves start to decay, then it can foul up the water, and just a small amount of ammonia buildup can cause like a domino effect, and then one shrimp dies after another. So that's why when I start talking about some of the foods on my list, I'm going to get to a point where it's going to be like, all right, now it's really important to make sure that you're getting all of the food out of the tank within like 2 hours, or else you can have some of these issues. But it's a little bit too late for that. Are there any dangers to overfeeding beyond water parameter fluctuations? You can definitely feed too much calcium and too much mineral, that they could have issues molting. You could feed not enough. So if you feed just a diet of cucumber, they're not going to get enough of it. I have another story about this weekend. I'm going to save that for a little bit later. I'm trying not to talk too much about last week and staying on topic for those who are watching and listening on the replay crew. And Mike wants to know if it's canned spinach or fresh organic or salted. And they said they don't believe they were organic, but yeah, I'm definitely curious on whether they're canned, and you definitely want to make sure they're not salted. When I get into the other foods, you definitely want to make sure none of it's seasoned. I do see Shelby is in chat. She's taking care of the baby, but she said it might have spoiled in the tank. And yeah, spinach is one of those foods where it can definitely start to decay in the tank pretty quickly. My plant spray bottle started growing algae in it, cause it's constantly lit by fish tank lights. Also, probably the water came out of your tap water, where like bottled water is probably in a completely sterile environment. So say if there's air anywhere in your tanks, near your tanks, you got bubblers, sponge filters, anything like that, you've got spores probably of algae in your house. So when you bottled up that spray bottle, some of those spores were able to get in, where I think if it's sealed and contained, that's why. Because I know there's like little tricks to keep flies and stuff away outside. You put a little penny in the bag to stop the algae from growing, and the algae grows because the water wasn't completely sterile environment when you sealed up in that Ziploc baggie. I think you could also use like a good amount of chlorine or bleach in it and have the same effect, but a penny was cheaper or safer. Don't want to do that in your shrimp tanks. Where's the baby? The baby is being fed. How many opportunities did I miss to win points? No points this week. We are simply in class, but I definitely want to take notes because some of these foods will be on our questionnaire. And I've been actually coming up with plenty of good questions to ask for the next one. Definitely going to be having to do like 5, 10, 15, 20 point areas because some of them are super easy to get. Some of them are difficult. So we're going to have to stick with that for sure. Can you feed celery leaves to your shrimp? I'm not sure. I'd imagine you can. But I've never heard of that. No, it's not something that's on my radar at all, Larry. Props for something new to the questionnaire. All right, for the moment you've all been waiting for. We've got Myra as well as Shelby. So we had a trip this weekend, and we were going to take today halfway and just get half the packages out. We ended up getting all the packages out. So we're a little bit behind tonight, but I was able to make it somewhat on time. All right, I'm just going to dive into it.
Jody said, would you be willing to help me confirm a possible albino blue dream shrimp? That's cool.
If you send me a photo, I believe they were talking about it on Steven's live stream tonight or earlier today.
Guplets. How often should you feed your shrimp bananas as it is considered a treat?
So, Shelby will say never.
Never. I say never.
I've seen a couple of legit shrimp breeders feed little slices of bananas to their shrimp. The reason why
it's not really their part of their diet, though, so that to me doesn't make sense. Why we're even giving it a snack of potassium? It's not part of their diet.
99% of this stuff isn't part of the diet of these shrimp in the wild, anyways. So
there is a lot of it that actually is and needs to be,
but not most of the stuff. There's no leaves other than bamboo leaves. Like, yeah,
there's tons of leaves.
No,
there is definitely leaves. Whether it's not in Taiwan's, there's definitely leaves in those rivers.
Not Indian almond leaves. Not mulberry.
It doesn't matter if it's what leaf it is.
It does when
leaf it alone.
The properties of the leaves are different.
Yeah. Try celery leaves and make a video. What? Oh, the
sponge filter? The sponge filter's floating. I dosed that. Dang it, I'm talking too much about this weekend already, and I don't want to. But I dosed the tank with some hydrogen peroxide and made this filters float.
I just would never recommend it. There's too many times that where bananas have gone wrong, so there's no need for potassium.
There's people throwing whole bananas in the tank, though, and not little tiny banana slices. Right.
So it is because of that. They legit throw in, and it wasn't like they threw in a whole banana. There was people that were throwing like whole banana peels in there, and there's more concentrated potassium in the peel than there is the actual banana. So it's like it was just not needed. It happens all the time, and I just would never do it. There's no reason for that. There's absolutely not a reason for that. There's no potassium needed for any crustaceans. It doesn't matter if it's a lobster.
I don't know about that.
I have researched this multiple times, why you would not need it. I could bring up another reason right here of the essentials of that, what is needed, and there's not one thing about potassium. So, why? Why would you do that? We need potassium as humans. Mammals would need potassium, but
why would we make our shrimp a shepherd's pie? I don't know, but I'm gonna do it one day.
Larry D said, "I'll try celery leaves and make a video of it. That'd be cool." I don't know if they would be. Most celery is just mainly composed of water. But I think the leaves contain a specific mineral to it, so that's what I would just maybe Google before you do it.
I have one of my foods that I'm going to talk about later that is very similar to celery, and I'll go over it later.
On Facebook Messenger would probably be the best.
Or thegardenofeater@gmail.com.
Yeah, you barely even look at that.
I know, but if we get it on stream, you can pull it up on screen and we can talk about it.
Mike says, is it okay to feed a quesadilla on Cinco de Mayo as a treat?
Absolutely not. But if you made a shrimp-sized quesadilla as scale of us to the shrimp, that'd be all right, probably.
Vibe said, are you bringing the kids with y'all to Aquascaping? Myro will be with us. Jaden and Layla have opted to stay behind. It is too much work for us to take care of all of them at some of the Aquascapes. Like if we're in Florida, it's a little bit different. I don't know. I know the terrain. I know the area. I feel more comfortable in Florida. And if anything was to arise and it was too busy, I could take them somewhere. I could drive 2 hours or 3 hours back somewhere and take them, but not to Dallas. Too long of a trip.
Layla has yet to give me an answer, but Layla helps us out a lot. So I'd be more than fine if Layla tagged along.
Oh, today Cinco de Mayo and we didn't eat tacos?
Is this Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah. I'm actually sad because that was like a tradition that we were having every year we've been together.
I don't even think
I
our
think the
favorite
last
place
2
is open.
years. No, it's not open on Mondays.
Dang.
And they
We'll just
probably
make up
were.
for it tomorrow, Taco Tuesday. That's
Yeah,
appropriate, right?
you're right. Jesse said, howdy lurking on the way home from a wedding. Hopefully you enjoyed it. My pure black lines love omnivore flakes.
Yeah, they'll eat any shrimp or fish food that doesn't have copper for sure.
That's why I said, dude, I made shepherd's pie last night. We have found out there's a lot of different shepherd's pies. It's so funny how many people like have shepherd pie and they're completely different in their ingredient list. We make ours with chicken and different veggies. It's almost like a chicken pot pie. Like I feel like it's more of a chicken pot pie what we make instead of a shepherd's pie. I feel like if we put
I feel like
it,
I'm trying to talk about
shrimp
shrimp and not pie at all.
We're talking about shepherd's pie. We got to feed the shrimp there.
It's 20 minutes in and I haven't talked about the first thing on my list besides
That's
biofilm.
on you.
No, it's on chat. Is it my turn though? All right. So the first foods that we use and the main foods that we use are the Shrimp Envy Complete line. We got the Shrimp Envy. I said Shrimp Envy Complete. It's the Shrimp Envy food lines. The Complete, though, is basically our go-to food. Whenever somebody asks, what food should I get? If I were to only get one food, it's going to be the Shrimp Envy Complete. It comes in 35-gram bags at the smallest. It comes in larger bags. The Shrimp Envy, the food line itself, has a sampler pack. The sampler pack includes a bunch of their different foods, and it also, though, includes the baby food. I'm going to talk about this right off the bat. With baby foods, they're generally just grinded up shrimp food. Whoever makes a baby food, they probably have another food on that line, and it's just grinded up for their baby food line. So we got the picture. Do you want to bring it up or on live stream? I hate to be like this, but it's like you really need a better picture in order to like clearly tell whether or not it's albino. We'll bring it up though. But let's finish off the baby foods, right? With the baby foods, what I found was when I was feeding baby foods, our parameters like ammonia and neurites and nitrates were nitrites. I always say neurites. Like I don't know why I think about snails so much. Nitrites and nitrates were a lot higher. So basically, the food wasn't getting eaten, and it was just fouling up the water. So when we stopped feeding the baby foods, I actually noticed that baby survival rates went way up, and we stopped feeding them altogether and haven't looked back since. And I haven't fed any powdered foods or any baby foods for the pacifier. I would say like 6 years now. It's been a very long time, and our baby survival rate is high enough that we don't import, we don't buy and resell. There's a couple breeders that we work with here and there, but it's very, very, very few shrimp, and most of them just go to shows. And then the babies, the myth behind why the baby shrimp food was like a thing and why it needed to be there was there's like a myth basically that baby shrimp wouldn't move for the first week until they molted, and it took them a week to molt. Well, shrimp can molt like a couple times during their first week of life. If they grow pretty quickly, I've seen newborn shrimp swim around and make it all the way to the food pile that same day they were born. So there's plenty of food, little bits and pieces that break off the other larger shrimp food, commercial food, pellets and stuff like that we use. Can you please get like a bag one of our bags of shrimp food so I can show the size, like average size pieces of food, please. The A lot of foods that I'm going to talk about will like get soft over time. The complete takes a while. Doesn't really spread out that much. Kind of stays in a nice compact pile. I really like these foods because it brings out all of the shrimp. They kind of have to go into one area. One shrimp isn't going to take off with this food and be able to eat the entire pellet all to itself while it's hanging out on the on the filter. I mean, there's some full size shrimp that might be able to do it. It's like some yellows or raccoons or something like that. But definitely not your average crystal shrimp, your Taiwan bee, and stuff like that. So when we get our foods, this is like an average pellet. This is about what I would feed to a tank of like 15 shrimp. If I only have 10 shrimp in the tank, I might break it up into a little bit smaller of a piece. Obviously, more than 15, you'd want to feed a lot more, depending on how many shrimp really there is. But usually, whatever you feed, now that's a different pellet. That's one of Plamsky's protein bites. It's just like a little pad. There's a couple of different pads that we use. The Plamsky food lines, they're all like a variety of different pads, really, but they're all great foods. There's protein ones, there's Mineral X, there's a bunch of them. They're all on sale right now on our website. And then this isn't a shrimp food, but these are the little mineral calcium tabs. And I don't really feed these too much for the shrimp. I more or less feed these for the snails. The shrimp do graze on them. Yeah, it's really hard to see pink on pink hands. But they're little tiny hexagons. The snails really do well on them, but the shrimp do graze on them from time to time. I've got different mineral foods that I'm going to talk about that I actually prefer a little bit better. But the shrimp envy growth is their protein food. And then they have the shrimp envy shell, and that is the mineral food. They also have the food fight, and we recently stopped using the food fight because I must have developed an allergy to soy. Anytime we use snowflake or any of the soybean, soy husk foods, it just makes me sneeze for like over an hour, and it isn't worth feeding it. So we've stopped using it. It's a great food, however, especially if you're going on vacations. Just pure snowflake food. Even the food fight is designed as a vacation food. You can feed a little bit more of it, and it doesn't decay and dissolve in your water column and create ammonia problems and stuff like that. I also like just the straight snowflake because you drop a little pellet of it in there. It breaks up, spreads apart. Everyone gets a piece, and it's really good for photos because a lot of the shrimp will really pop on the white snowflake.
Mike says, have you grown any plants from a bare bottom tank that is lighted from the bottom? No. Most of our tanks have substrate in them. I don't think we've had any that are bare bottom. I don't like the look of bare bottom, and I most likely would not put a light underneath with how much that he floods. So that would be absolutely not good for us, unfortunately. Maybe you could do it. I don't see there would be any problem, depending on the glass, whether the rays get through it enough. That would be the only issue.
Be like a topsy-turvy style setup, though.
Bill
It'd be cool.
Confirming tomorrow, but the wife and I are planning to hit Aquascaping in Jersey. Nice. I'm excited for the Jersey one.
It's been a while since we've been in that
area. I don't like Jersey.
But I do like that expo hall
area is nice. So, and it was cool because it's not too far away from actually New York City. So
I'm down to go to John's and Bleeker's and get some good pizza that rivals Sally's.
The one we ate at?
John and Bleeker's is the same score as Sally's the pizza.
But yeah, it's not too far. You can take a bus over to New York. So this will definitely be not another place that the kids are coming because we took them to New York already. We had that experience. No thanks. Not kid friendly in my opinion. um, but yeah, continue.
And then we have our Glass Garden Foods. This is a German line. This is the same brand that makes our salty shrimp foods. My favorite of all time from them is the shrimp mineral food. It's the Mineral Junkie. This is my favorite mineral food of all time. It's nice and soft. And also, Larry, this is the one that smells like celery. So if celery wasn't a main ingredient or part of this food, I'd be surprised. I actually haven't looked into like the ingredients to see if celery is in it, but it smells like celery. So it makes me feel like the celery leaves would be all right.
Well, it's all in German.
I'm sure it's got English.
The ingredients are no. I'm pretty positive it doesn't.
I don't know.
But even if it did, I don't think celery would be it.
But it's nice and soft. It's full of calcium. When you have the shrimp eating it, like the blue velvets, the ghost bees, you'll see it move through their body as it's digested. Like it's kind of cool to look at. It could kind of scare you if you think that your shrimp have a bacterial infection or something like that. It kind of looks very similar to it when the lights are off, especially. But it is very soft. So even though it's jam-packed with minerals, it's squishy. So it stays together until it soaks in water for a couple minutes, and then it kind of breaks up. So every single shrimp in the colony has a shot at grabbing some of it. Great for the snails, great for the shrimp. This is a food that I absolutely recommend, as well as the ones I talked about before. The next one from Glass Garden that we use is the dinner tabs. These are jam-packed with food. There's a lot of food in these things. I do not recommend these for colonies under 30 shrimp. I really like these ones for the Neocaridina ponds outside. Personally, myself, they're big and heavy. So when you're going to catch a lot of shrimp in one scoop and you're going over the substrate, a lot of times with the smaller food, you'll get a lot of those little itsy bitsy pieces. The shrimp dinner, even if it does get in the net, it's really easy. It's real dense to just grab and get out of there, so you can collect all your shrimp. So that way, when you're bagging up, you've got a lot of clean water and not dirty water from all the itty bitty pieces of food that were left over in the net. So it does. A lot of it goes a long way. So when you're referring to the food being eaten within 2 to 3 hours, I would definitely not feed a whole chunk of this to colonies unless they're like over 50. Good size, large shrimp in the tank. You doing some research?
Mm-hmm. So I was wrong about the potassium. So shrimp do need potassium, but in very small amounts for molting and cellular function, but to not use it in soft water tanks because they lack potassium. So I think it could cause a big swing in parameters. So to go back to the celery, which is why I looked up the potassium, celery actually contains a bunch of different minerals between magnesium, copper, sodium, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, and iron, all in the leaves. So it would be good, probably a little bit of it, but I would be very careful with it because of like the amount of minerals in that. That's crazy.
And shrimp do need copper, but there are foods that have copper in them that you want to avoid because that is too much copper.
Yeah, it's like it's more of it needs a natural copper, not something added into a pelletized form. Back to you. She is just not having it, is she?
She's really moving now. So now that she knows she can get places, she doesn't want to be contained.
That shrimp does look really cool. I couldn't tell you if it's albino because usually you would think that there would be red eyes. I don't think it's possible, but it doesn't mean it is impossible. possible to have a albino shrimp. I just don't know. No one's ever had any.
The eye just the pupil
but-
kind of looked too black in the photo for me. That's why I need a better photo.
Yeah, there's a pupil there.
There's a lot of...
It's not clear all the way. You still have a pupil in the center. But I mean, it's really cool. Now, now I can't even think of what a snowball looks like. They have solid black eyes, though, right? So that's a little bit different.
I'm not quite sure, but here's my thing with the whole golden Neo, the yellow, orange-eyed Neos that are out. If you look at my cull bucket, a lot of the culls will have eyes that look like that. I just think when they lack pigment, they're lacking color. The color kind of lacks in their eyes as well. But to me, if the pupil isn't a different color than black, it's not special.
Do your wild tanks produce color ever, all the time?
Yeah, you still get reds and blues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people get really mad when they get wild sometimes.
They
and
want
they'll
ugly
get colors.
ones only. And
I'm like,
they produce all different...
They're wild. They're going to
phenotypes.
produce different colors.
And then I had a person argue with me. And I'm like really upset because we have wilds that come from mixing all of our culls in one tub together, right? They breed together. They make wilds. This person got wilds, and the only tub of wilds that I could catch them out of was our Kettigan wild Neocaridina tub, which is a wild type Neocaridina from the wild, not crossed from Neocaridina. And I was like, dude, you actually got like the really nice ones. And he's like, but this isn't how they are in the wild. And I'm like, no, these are wild Kettigan Neocaridina. It took me forever to find the research on them and show to him what they look like in the wild. And then I never even got like a thank you response back or anything like that. But that was the last time I let some of those go. Yeah, you've fully turned. You're not gonna crawl to the mic though.
Jonathan G said, "What was the food you were going to send from the Stump the Shrimp Keeper game?"
So, nobody. Oh yeah, it's the ultra fresh shrimp foods.
I will be making a label. They'll be going out in the morning. There. Yeah. Okay.
That's actually the next one on the list too.
Well, then you talk about that. Why make a label? Literally, why we're on the stream before we forget.
So, ultra fresh shrimp foods. I need to double check the pricing. It's one of the foods that we're going to carry here soon on the website. They also sponsored the shrimp contest. They've given out a first, second, and third place prize, which is incredible because for one of the companies to sponsor money-wise and send the free food in the amount that they did, we've been trying to get that for a very long time out of it, and it's really great. We just hit up Ultra Fresh Shrimp Foods in March to start working with them, and they've been a real big help and supporter of the shrimp hobby. So their foods, though, I believe are only $8. Can you grab one of the containers? I believe it's only like $8 and some change for one of these smaller containers. They have larger sized ones too, but I think they're 38 grammer containers or 45. I can't. Shelby's got it.
58.
58 grams. So for the most bang for your buck shrimp food, Shelby likes them because they're like little cookies. So a lot of the big shrimp each get one of their own little cookies. What?
That's not the cookie one.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. So spicy, so.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? It's been a while since I thought.
And they're both Australian food companies.
A little sus. These ones are thicker, though. These ones are thicker.
So yeah, they are.
I have to feed a lot of the other ones where I don't like to because I feel like I'm overfeeding sometimes. Where these ones you don't. I don't feel like I'm overfeeding them as much. But as promised, your tracking number is coming through, Jonathan. Those will go out in the morning. I'm so sorry. I just sent out someone else's too for tomorrow.
But this is a great food, jam-packed with great ingredients. What sold it for me when we saw this guy in Vegas was he ate it in front of me.
Yeah, I'm still disturbed.
So whenever a company is willing to eat their own ingredients, you know it's good. And the shrimp absolutely love it. They devour it across the entire house. It's heavy enough that it kind of still can create a little food pile. If you add a couple pieces in the front of your tank, really excited to Vibes is heading out. Good night, Vibes. Really excited to see you and New Local Austin, Mike, in Dallas. You guys are both welcome to join us on Thursday if you're able to make it over there for setup. I'll make sure you guys are able to get in. We are also taking on volunteers for the shrimp contest. Anybody that is able to be there on Thursday, we can get in the doors early. As long as you commit at least 4 hours to us, we can get you a pass into one of the days of the shows if you're not entered in the contest or anything like that.
Excited to see you. Keystone Clash said, "Hey Shelby and Grant too."
It wasn't like that last year.
Excited for the clash. I know. Well, they were very upset that I wasn't there.
Oh, now that they've used me, it's just...
What happened with doing a purple line? Still working on it. It's one of the hardest ones to solidify. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to do it.
I mean, it's been done. There's definitely pure lines, but there was a guy, Barry. Barry had a pure line, and we should have bought more of his, but they were expensive, and we were trying to have more kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, probably the video might help if we could get that through. My granddaughter is looking at Myra. That's so cute. Oh, when I was in the bedroom watching Grant through the phone, Myra glued to it. I couldn't get her to not focus on the screen. She was like, "Is that Daddy?" That's so cute. Mike said, "What should we buy from you with our tax returns?" What you need is that's what you should buy. Black rose.
Your favorite color or pattern, and the ultimate setup that you can provide for them. That's what I would do.
And Keith says, "Shelby, when will we get to see the first birthday smash cake party?" What date?
So her birthday is on the 25th. So
25th,
that will definitely be on the 25th. I don't know the schedule for the Keystone Clash just yet, but
we got to take it one show at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Thursday is her birthday, so we're celebrating on that Thursday.
Oh, we might be
No, we'll be driving Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be setting up Thursday. That's right.
Yeah, so that will be perfect day for the smash cake. Back to your talk.
All right, so we just did the ultra fresh shrimp foods. The next one, and this one was surprising. I gotta give props to my buddy Kapil. He works on the Project Piaba, but he also came by and did a talk for our club. When he did the talk for our club, he came by the house. And I think this was like his first time being immersed in this much shrimp. And the one thing that he was like, "Dude, have you heard about Cobalt shrimp foods?" And I was like, I haven't really heard anything of it. I know somebody else, kind of used that food to make their own food. Why? What's up? What about it? And he goes, "Oh, well, there's this thing where nobody really understands like what's in the food, but the shrimp absolutely love it. They go nuts for it. They come out for it. Da 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 da." And it's a little confusing on the product, right? Because it's a shrimp food from Cobalt. There's no shrimp on the container, and there's also no shrimp in the ingredients. So that's the one thing that like threw me off when like I think I had seen it before. So I was like, what is this? What's going on? It's got like a clown loach on it, I believe, and like a Cory cat. I think I can't remember what's actually on it,
I thought it had a frontosa on it.
but
It's something weird.
maybe they mimic shrimp. I don't know. I would love to talk to Les about it one day, and figure that one out. However, the shrimp absolutely loved it. Our dog loved it. He got a hold of it and ate an entire bottle of it. So there.
It's not a frontosa. It's a blue and white and black and white fish and an Oscar and a the algae thingy.
No, that's the clown loach.
That's what a clown loach is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like they just need to fix the picture. Like, what is that? That's so funny.
But I can vouch the shrimp absolutely love it.
They did.
We got 3 big containers of it, and we've been feeding it.
This is what I feed mostly outside. It's a good container to take outside, so I'm feeding that to the Neos the most.
I'm looking to feed it inside now for a while. I couldn't find it.
I fed most of it. I mean, it took me weeks.
I'm sure we can
You're
get
just
like
slow.
a good sized container of it, but
I think that's funny that you earlier said shrimp, what do they need? And someone said other shrimp because like the ultra fresh shrimp food is
it's
made
35.
35 contains up to this 35% of sword prawn shrimp. So mainly meat, vegetable.
She's excited about that.
Yeah, this is like it's got like everything in it, so it's cool to see. Yeah.
All right, next one on the list is the bug buffet. That is the one that we got from Nick from Fish Keeping Simple, or Keeping Fish Simple.
Keeping Fish Simple. You do that all the time.
I know. I'm sorry, Nick.
What did you even say? You said it wrong. Don't say it again. You'll get it wrong again.
But he gave us 2 bags. One of the bags kind of got smushed in transit. The powder, though, worked great for all the fish fry. And we fed it outside to all the Neos outside because we just scatter up the food. We're not really worried about it going to waste out there. There's so much shrimp, right? But the pellets from the second bag, those were great. That is one of the foods where if you like to make sure that all of your foods or all of your little shrimps get a piece of the food, this is also a food that I would recommend if you're somebody that's like, I can't not feed baby shrimp food, like you're devoted to that little aspect of it. Then I like Nick's foods because when you do feed his food, it does kind of dust the surface a little bit of the powder residue around the food. So that was one of the foods. The shrimp really enjoyed it. I talked about snowflake, but I didn't talk about bee pollen. Bee pollen is another one of those foods where it kind of breaks up just like that and can be a good source of little powdered food to your shrimp, where the main grains are still going to fall, and the bigger shrimp are going to eat that, and it's not going to foul up the water as much, in my opinion. So I think those 2 are much better substitutes rather than using the powdered baby foods. Then also, barley food is very similar to the snowflake food. It's going to break up, scatter all across. Barley also has this other benefit of feeding the bacteria. So if you're looking to culture and maybe you have a freshly cycled tank and new shrimp, barley is a good food to first feed. That way, what doesn't feed the shrimp will help feed the bacteria and get it started and going.
Cora put the second shrimp fails its molt, the other shrimp are licking fingers. They really are. They're savages, honestly. They love it.
And what about a full shrimp? Do you let your shrimp eat a full-size shrimp? Or a dead shrimp, I mean? Here's my thing. If they're eating it, and it's actually getting devoured, and there's nothing like sick in the tank, there was no illness or anything like that, I'll let them eat a shrimp. However, if there's a dead shrimp and absolutely nothing's grazing on it, I get it out of there as fast as I possibly can. I don't let it just sit and melt in the tank. And if it starts to turn pink, I usually get it out of there. I'm just gonna grab the beard.
So cute. I can't handle it. Mike says, "What shows are in sketchy neighborhoods?" So they're not. Most of the venues are in a pretty good area. I would say the one that was in a sketchy area was in Daytona, so I could only say that because we're not going back to it.
Dallas is kind of sketchy in the area. There was an entire homeless camp underneath that bridge.
Oh yeah.
At one point, definitely don't want to walk to Whataburger from the place.
Yeah.
Like
there was human. I don't know. I don't want to say it on live stream, but on the sidewalk, kind of like an animal. It was. You just didn't want to step in it.
And
that was a little bad. New Jersey, it's not bad if you get a hotel in the area of the little area, but anywhere outside of that area, like I'm talking like 5 miles away, it's very sketchy. So be careful when booking a hotel in some of these places. Like
it's only like 10 miles away from the airport, 15 miles away from the airport. So the closer to the airport, the worse it was.
Yeah, it was not. That was not pleasant, but we learned from our mistakes. Just don't get a cheaper hotel. Sometimes in some bigger cities, you do need to pay a little bit more. It's just going to be part of it.
They're not all like the Keystone Flash right in the heart of Amish town. You can't get much better than that. You got good big pretzels in the hotel, so you don't have to really go anywhere, I heard they're going to have ice cream this time. You never know, though.
She's excited. Yeah. Second I see a dead shrimp or fish pool, yes. It's always the best thing. Don't ever let it. It's going to cause issues in the tank regardless, and it could cause a chain reaction regardless of shrimp or fish. So it's always good practice. What are you doing?
Trying to rip the Tennessee off the fish t-shirt.
she has been teething really bad, so she's just taking her like teething toys and gnawing on them. It's hilarious. One of the worst parts of New Jersey. Let me know if you want to see the nice parts when you're here. Yeah, maybe one of these times. They had a really good restaurant that's gone. I'm so upset. There's nice parts of New Jersey.
And then this is a little teaser for you guys. We are also working on a new garlic food. If you ever see like a bunch of shrimp in the tank with a little bit of poop hanging out, a little bit of garlic will help clear that right out. It's the same with plecos. And we've been developing a food with Shrimp Envy, and we have some free samples. So if you place an order through the website, and you got to come up with your best garlic name, all right? So you got to put garlic and a food name, and we will give you a free sample in with your order. So that has to be in the notes if you want to participate on naming one of our foods. We have a good name already in mind, so it's got to beat that in order to win. But regardless, you're going to get a free sample. We've already been testing it. It works great. I fed a bunch of the shrimp and snails it today. So that's kind of something that we've been coming out with. And it's actually being sent to the labs for exact DNA analysis testing and everything like that. Yeah. So we can put the mock-up spreadsheet or whatever it needs, and it's all legal. And then maybe we should get the packaging figured out.
Yeah.
And designed and whipped up here soon. So I already showed her a little box that I was like, we should do something like that. And she's like, Grant, that's too much. Get out of here. So it's all her at this point. She's going to come up with all the designing.
But I do Already forgot. It's gone. Erased it. Whiteboard of a brain.
So those are all the commercial shrimp foods that we use. A couple other ones that I would like to mention are the Shrimp King food line. Their mineral and their protein foods are exceptional. I really do enjoy those. I would sell those foods on our website. However, I can buy them on Amazon cheaper than I can buy them wholesale. So go to Amazon if you're looking to mix up your shrimp food line and add one of those to it. But I do prefer the Mineral Junkie over the Shrimp King food still. But those two foods are great. The Food Fight from Shrimp Envy, I don't use that one, but it is a great vacation food. And then Shelby's favorite steak seasoning, Bug Pro. We don't use it too much, but every once in a while I go around and I sprinkle it into some of the tanks, and especially some of the ponds outside. The Neocaridina, I think, really do well off of their Bug Bits and Bug Pro and stuff like that.
I think what I was going to say earlier is that why I'm glad we're doing a food with Shrimp Envy, because they send them off to labs. They get the right percentage. They make sure it's right for the shrimp. So it's exciting to be able to do a project with them.
And then it'll be an exact recipe. So we'll have the exact same thing coming from us every single time.
Hey, design. Looks familiar, Shelby. Hands. Yeah. They're kids mobile now. Crawling. So yeah, she's
kind of rolling.
She would be, if we would let her, but we baby her too much. She definitely crawls on the bed, but not like full on hands and feet up, She's a scooter though. She's going. It's hilarious. She was standing for quite some time today, and it blew my mind. I was like, oh no, please stop. I don't want the process to go fast. It goes faster than I like already. So no thanks.
So here's where I got to let you know, all the foods now are foods that you need to make sure you get them out of there within 2 hours of them not being eaten. Then they can really foul up. They can cause issues with your water parameters. And this is where a lot of the newbies and new beginners will overfeed and have issues and wipe out a bunch of their shrimp. So with the talk that I had just done, I have a tab which pretty much lists all of these on it, because you've got the fish clubs, a lot of the mentality of some of them, they want to use stuff that they already have. They want to use stuff that's in the fridge or in the fish room already. And a lot of them use green beans. When we were at Greg Sage's, I can't remember how much green beans he goes through, but I think it was like $300 worth of green beans a month.
It was quite a bit.
It was a lot. And he's feeding his plecos and Corey's, and I don't remember exactly what was eating these, but I know he has a lot of shrimp, and the shrimp are eating them. But I like explained, like, you can't just feed them all like greens. You got to have a calcium source for them. They got to get good foods. And then there's this old timer in the group, and he's like, "Oh, all I feed are green beans, and I do my water changes with 1 GH, 1 KH, and 10% a day." And I'm like, well, they got to be getting the calcium from somewhere. Like, there's got to be something in there that they're getting the right amount of minerals so that they can molt, right? But it was like one of those moments where it kind of made me look like an idiot, but I was just like, all right, move on. Like, it's what works for you isn't going to work for everything. Then the guy comes up to me at the end and goes, "You know what? You were right. I don't just feed my shrimp green beans, because I feed this fish food and this fish food and this fish food and this fish food, and my fish aren't eating all of it. The shrimp have got to be getting their minerals from that, right?" I'm like, yeah, like that probably should have been mentioned in the talk. Like, but that same guy went up at the end, grabbed the microphone, and said that my talk was like one of the best talks he had ever heard,
yeah.
and he'd been going to talks in 1981. All right, so
no, it was like 1976.
it was
right?
all right. Listen,
ridiculous.
I was trying to stay humble and not give too many years if I was going wrong. So,
Yeah.
Shelby almost had to leave me though because my head almost didn't fit in the car on the ride home. But
Yeah, that's the first thing. Everyone was looking at me as soon as they said something, and I had to tell the whole room. I was like, great.
But he had a bunch of shrimp, and he made it seem like his red crystals were breeding. And I was like, yeah, your red crystals are breeding? And he's like, no, not those. And I was like, yeah, they're not going to breed in that kind of setup, dude. And yeah, so I got him on that one at least. But yeah, it was a great talk. I really enjoyed it. But these are all on there. Green beans.
It was an okay talk.
It is on.
I'm just kidding.
It was my first time doing an advanced shrimp talk, and it's mainly just photos. But the back and forth conversation, the genetics, and the selected breeding questions were phenomenal.
Yeah, there was so many people that were engaging in conversation and questions during his talk. I was very impressed with the club.
There was somebody
Not
that
so much
didn't
the
even
talk.
have a fish tank yet and was setting up a Caridina shrimp tank there.
That's crazy. Well, their water there is more towards Caridina because they do have softer water.
I hate saying that though because they still need an RO unit.
Yeah, I mean they still have like
yeah. They still need an RO unit. You make sure they know. And I had said something in the mic, and Myra like reached for it, like she wanted to say something. I was like, "You want to say something?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh man, perfect."
It was hilarious. Dave said, "Do you still recommend feeding every other day?"
Yes, and I was actually surprised to hear that Rob Bloomfield also feeds his shrimp every other day. A lot of breeders do that, but
I feel like it gives it
he
plenty
makes
of
shrimp
time.
food, so you would think that he'd be an advocate for feeding every single day, sell more shrimp food. But no, I think as much as the shrimp can eat within 2 hours every other day is excellent, more than enough. We feed sometimes every 3 days. Sometimes the shrimp go a week without feeding because we're traveling. But yeah, it's only a couple of our tanks where like I recommended the Super Tigers and the Hummel Tigers on feeding them every single day. But when I talked with Rob and the old guy that I was talking with, I think I could have just fed them a little bit more every day or every other day too, and maybe got the same result. I'm not sure. But yes, every other day we're feeding the entire house.
Yeah. I think the reason to do that, though, is so shrimp food breaks down so much that they kind of carry it. They kind of put it everywhere. It's so much for them in that day that it actually takes them a couple days to eat it all and the biofilm in the tank. So to feed them every single day will just pile up too much and it'll cause an algae issue. That's why I think a lot of people forget when they're feeding veggies that it doesn't necessarily look bad, but it is fouling up your tank. Like it's leaching different minerals and other things. Like the celery I was saying even had so much minerals in just a little leaf of celery. So all these other ones definitely have minerals that are leaching into your tank, where like the foods that are dried out are a little bit better. Like you can see that it breaks down and they consume it, where like sometimes those zucchinis just sit there and they don't look bad, but they're definitely fouling up the water. So that's the only problem. I had my dad was actually feeding green beans, and they didn't look like they were going bad, and the mystery snails were eating them, but then like they fouled up very quickly. So you had to remove them.
Yeah, and even Greg was removing and siphoning up the uneaten food. So that's important. And that's Greg Sage from Select Aquatics. I want to give him a proper shout out. We should have a video of his fish room in the future. Not near future, but in the future.
It'll be pretty soon because I am tired of content not going out. So if it might be the next video coming out regardless. So it's going to be being put together. Oh my goodness, your big old feet.
So Mike, I couldn't answer this question, not even roughly, because these things are constantly eating and pooping, and I don't know how fast the food travels through it, and I haven't necessarily watched any of my shrimp to figure that out, or have I cared on how quickly the poop runs through my shrimp. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that. But Shelby's gonna chat GPT it, I guess.
I don't know. I was just seeing if they could answer it. Yeah, it varies.
It varies.
Generally 4 to 6 hours on most food types.
I think that's
Processed
just
foods
fast, though.
digested in 3 to 5 hours. I mean,
I-
you know what? Here's the best test. If you really want to figure this out, feed them a calcium or a mineral food. Their stomach turns white. Time it. Put a timer on. Come back in a few hours. See if it's still there.
You want to start it once the food is gone. Once the food is gone, then wait until the white disappears out of it. But I bet you it's longer than the 3 to 5 hours.
Laura said it's definitely a game changer, those types of greens. We do cucumber for plecos because they love it. Plecos definitely love them greens.
She just threw my notes all the way across the floor.
She's like, you don't need these anymore. She's a handful. I would say that
she's growing for the food now.
I would say she is a lot more a handful than Layla. Layla was more of a cuddly. She would sit there with me, watch shows. Where Myra's kind of like, I'm bored. Let's do something.
Well, it's your fault. Let's chill with Myra.
Let's go.
You made us go get dinner, so she's like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna not chill out ever again.
She should sleep good tonight because she only slept for a little bit on a walk today. She passed out and then passed out for like no longer than like 5-10 minutes.
It wasn't long. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so she's a handful.
So next on the list, Shelby already talked about cucumber. Or zucchini. I can't remember which one she talked about. But you definitely want to use zucchini over cucumber. You can boil it and then freeze it for when you need it. Once it's boiled, it'll sink. If you don't boil it, it'll float. You can use like a bamboo skewer and kind of stick it in the substrate, stick a fork in it. They sell these little pleco things. Pleco zucchini, spike things. I don't know what they're called, feeders. But if you boil it, they kind of lose some of the nutrients. So, but we when we were feeding zucchini, we would always just cut up a bunch of it, boil it, and then freeze it on a sheet. And then when I needed it, I would just break it off and throw it in the tanks. We haven't done that in like 10 years though.
Yeah, we just have so much of the like processed, ready to go foods that we just don't need to cut up a vegetable and boil it and do all that work. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't want to if we had the time or have the energy to. Like I would definitely do zucchini for any pleco for sure. Shrimps not so much. I think it's because of how many tanks we have. So if we had a few tanks, I probably would do zucchinis all the time. Mike said, can I take a shed from one tank and put it into another?
I wouldn't do that because then you're depriving one tank of nutrients. And that shed should probably have been eaten by the shrimp that shed it.
Oh, Bugsy.
That's how I feel.
So it's tough to play Warzone and listen to shrimp talk. I'm really upset because I just got like my addiction feeling, like it felt like it was gone. And then now you just mentioned it, and now all I want to do is play Call of Duty. It was just gone. I haven't played in a while. I was like, all right, I'm not like fiending for video games. And then you had to bring it up, and I'm like, now I want to play tonight.
I don't know about you. I'm still whomped from yesterday. I'm not staying up very late.
Yeah, right. You were actually on point at the beginning of this live stream, and then you weren't stumbling. And I was like, wow, I was going to type in chat, like, he looks like he actually got sleep when we didn't get sleep.
What, now I'm falling off? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, come on. All right. Please
I'm here.
Step aside. We've got the next one on the list, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come up to pumpkin and squash. Pick your choice. Both of these are a great food. You just want to make sure they're cooked very well, use very small portions. And I don't usually use like out of the can. I'm talking like scrape out the guts, grab yourself a nice piece of the squash or pumpkin, boil it, and then place it into the tank and make sure, again, they eat whatever they can within the first hour or two, and then you got to get it out of there. Another great one is carrot, also beet. Both of those, the carrot, not that cool of an effect, but the beet is definitely a pretty cool one to look at as it kind of oozes the red dye into the aquarium. For Thanksgiving last year, we used a piece of turkey. Again, want to make sure that they eat as much as they can, and then you get it out of there. Just like quesadilla, that one kind of broke off and made a little milky powder residue behind it. So I definitely took a turkey baster and sucked up as much of that gunk as I possibly could before moving on with that one. Did a water change the next day just to be sure. Yeah, any kind of meat or anything like that, you just want to make sure it's unseasoned. I made sure I went deep into the turkey to grab a piece of that meat for the shrimp. No added salt or anything like that. Another like really popular food from the kitchen that a lot of shrimp people use, but more of a snail thing, is eggshells. What they'll do is they'll clean off the eggshells, they'll boil the eggshells, they'll break them off into little bits, and then feed little tiny pieces. That's great, but I've never personally done this. I just feel like the calcium chips and tablets, they dissolve a lot quicker, and they're meant for the shrimp to actually digest them. Big fan of Grant's calcium chips over doing the egg thing. So these guys work wonders. Big fan of those. And then you've got like your black worms, your blood worms, and frozen brine shrimp and stuff like that. You can feed live brine shrimp, but the shrimp aren't really going to eat the live ones. But eventually they're going to die. They're going to fall. They're going to hit the ground and become a perfect snack for the shrimp. But using the frozen bloodworm cubes, even the freeze-dried ones, the blackworms and stuff like that, I feed the newts a lot of the freeze-dried blackworm cubes, and a couple of our shrimp tanks, I think, have seen a little benefit to breaking off a little piece of the freeze-dried cube and dropping them in there. It's hard to tell because the shrimp kind of had the Ferrari of tanks with Shelby's Galaxy Pintos, but there was a good amount of breeding in there, and they seemed to grow pretty quickly. So those, however, got moved out of the tank. We got like 6 more we got to catch. Do an algae nuke on that tank and get that thing tip-top shape. It's not going to look good for Dr. Anthony, but maybe the next guest.
This is cool to know. Cora said, so shrimp are grazers, and some animals have complex digestive systems that have to constantly remain being used, like hummingbirds, pygmy shrews, and even giant pandas have to eat every 4 hours or they lose gut microbes, etc. Is that the issue with shrimp? How long can you go without feeding shrimp if there's not enough biofilm? I think that's a big thing. I think that's why shrimp are okay to go a little bit longer, because there is so much biofilm in a tank. But if they don't have biofilm, they do die off.
I don't think it's like that though, because our shrimp are good in the bags for like 2 to 3 weeks. And I've got plenty.
But they're so tiny that they're not moving enough.
Yeah, but still, the smaller they are, the faster their metabolism is.
I mean,
and
pandas have to eat 4 hours because they're gigantic.
Right.
Now take that to a tiny size. Maybe they have to eat every week.
It'd be quicker. It'd be faster.
You think it'd be fast? No.
Yeah.
No,
if shrimp only live 3 years and pandas live 14 years.
I don't know.
Think about
Mike, Fortnite. I can't do Fortnite anymore. That enrages me. That one makes me so mad. They added too much to it. They have ruined the game 100%.
I just can't see it anymore.
It's
too lazy to go get glasses, and I really don't want them.
I'll probably go play. I mean, I won a game when I played the other day, which made it like more annoying that I won because then it's like, how did I win when it like some games I died instantly? So I could have a whole stream just talking about how video games.
With the first person shooters, everybody blends in with the map too much for me.
Ranked is for sweaty 12-year-olds. It's my sweaty 13-year-old. He's playing ranked and that he doesn't shut up about ranked games. Like, it's just hilarious to listen to that. It's that whole
Jaden,
generation.
can you come help me? I'm in a ranked match. Hold on.
Mike said, what special surprise do you have planned for Shelby on Mother's Day? He will say that he has a surprise, and the surprise is that he didn't do a surprise.
No, the surprise is Dr. Anthony's going to be here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that we have to drive Dr. Anthony to the airport.
Told you to take you to the factory.
The Cheesecake Factory that you care about. At least my cake's there. That'd be good. He kind of already bought me some gifts. We went to a beautiful place. I don't know if we've gotten to that yet, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So. That's
later. We're done on our shrimp food talk. Like there's a lot more foods. That's all the ones that are really on my list. So now's the time to hit me with, well, what about this? What about that? Yeah. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of stupid ones. Here they come.
20 questions about bananas. But apparently they need potassium. But I feel like there's other ones that already have sources of potassium in them. So Steve, he said Fortnite, the game where I die in the first 30 seconds and everyone else is an architect. So we were really good at Fortnite and really good at building. I would say Grant was way better than I was at building. I cannot do edits on Xbox. Like if I did a computer, I could probably do edits and learn, but not on Xbox. The way my hands are small for those controllers, so like they just aren't realistic.
If you took editing out and it was just building, I'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Editing is the problem.
Yeah,
man, you can't. There's just no way you can physically with the shape of the Xbox controller be as fast as someone on a mouse that they're doing like this, and like it's just not possible. But it was a good game. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we pretty much no-life that for a while, for a good like 5 seasons at least.
That's when I was fine with Facebook was selling all my shrimp and everything was good.
That's been so long. They make editing easier for controller players recently. Oh, that's cool. I don't care to learn now, but my thing isn't that. I like the building. I like the gameplay. It's the stupid swords and the stupid special abilities they have. And like it's just been in every other game. It's like a superhero ability where they have these giant swords where they can fly across the map and just smite you down. Like, I'm not for that. I'm older. I cannot react fast enough to that. Oh, I just don't understand how some people can. Oh, it's so funny. SC Caterpillar says live blackworms don't work as shrimp food. However, a small blackworm colony can survive in a shrimp tank rather well. I've seen this.
I do think they make a great little colony and beneficial addition to the ecosystem. And I do think that they eat some of the live blackworms when they need that protein.
Outside of course, I missed the hammer in Fortnite. It was so much fun. The hammer was kind of cool. My thing was, I guess we kind of have that in Halo. Like the sword was kind of like ridiculous. Now I want to play Halo. Rest in peace, Halo. I want to play Halo.
You can still play it.
I mean, you can still play it, but like, there's no new games coming out. It's so sad. That was me and Grant's game for sure. We challenged everybody who came over with Halo. It would really make people mad because not only would they lose badly to Grant, they would lose to me too.
So ready for this weekend? This past weekend?
Oh yeah, we can discuss that.
So I spoke for the Raleigh Aquarium Society in North Carolina. Yeah. Got to see Diane Walstead. Got to see Heather and her husband. Got to see.
Look at you! I'm so proud of you.
No, I forgot everybody else. The Bloomfields, Kiki. I would have remembered Kiki.
There's a lot of people. Winston was there.
Winston was there. But Chris Smith was kind of the highlight for the trip for me. He afterwards, him and Thomas took us out to dinner. And then Chris offered us to come by and check out his fish room. Now, mind you, conversation at dinner, he mentions, like, I'm cheap. I started the hobby off. I'm cheap. I'm going to keep it cheap. That's the vibe that I got. So I'm like, I know he's got CO2. I know he's got planted tanks. Even if they're cheap, I'm going to learn something, and it's going to be a great experience. And we get to his house. He's got a Siamese cat, so the kids and Shelby are all distracted with that.
Cute.
But I walk into this room, and it is absolutely gorgeous. One of the nicest fish rooms.
Don't explain it too much because it is a video.
One of the nicest fish rooms I've ever seen. Not a lot of tanks. He focuses a lot of effort on the tanks that he has. They were beautiful. CO2 in each one of them. Chiro's full spectrum lights that aren't even powered to full power. Lots of plants that I really like the ranunculus. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that right, but I was saying rondulus, so that's not even close. He had some of the pogostem and downoi. Helferi matted up beautifully. You can actually show you something I got all the way up. That right there is a clump of Java fern windalove, and it is like the size of a basketball. It's huge, probably the largest clump I've seen in person. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll sell it for like $75." And I'm like, "It's sold. I'll take it." I was wanting to like just portion it up as sales come in and sell it off of that. However, I saw how hurt Chris got when he was like, "You're gonna break it up? You're really gonna break it up? Like I sold it, but you're really gonna break it up?" And I was like, "Yeah, like that thing's gonna get way too big for my tanks." So I might dedicate one of my 65-gallon tanks.
I feel like it's staying there for the newts.
I think
the ferns are doing really.
It's
good
gotta.
with the newts.
Maybe what I do is I split it longwise so it grows out more. I don't know. It's all one
Still
piece
keeps
though,
the
and he
big
wanted
separate.
me to make sure I knew it was all one piece even before I knew it was for sale. But yeah, it's great. I'm really happy with it. But the room was beautiful. He had 2 lazy boys in the middle of it. He had a darts table. Without telling you too much, it was just gorgeous.
I don't think I added that into it, so I don't care about darts.
I was just briefly describing the room.
I should have for the guys, for the boys, but I was distracted by everything else.
It was a day room porch, or just a screened-in porch without even a door access to his actual house. He knocked out part of his laundry room, made it bigger to the garage, and added a door in.
For the video. It's okay.
$67,000 later, he's got his dream fish room. So, well, nobody gets to see it. So if you want to see what $67,000 can get you in a fish room, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow for more.
Is that Java fern a man-made hybrid, right?
The windalove, I have no idea. I
did not know that.
I
think that's just a different species. There's so many species of Java fern.
He had one from India that had a cool pattern on it.
What's the point of my video if you keep it spoiling all?
They don't know what it looks like. You want to see what it looks like? Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to follow for more.
So yeah, it's a Tropica cultivar. See, we know there was someone in here that knows what they're talking about. Yep, Tropica made. Tropica's actually got quite a few plants.
What if the whole thing dies?
I like their Tropica. It's so pretty. You're annoying.
We were just having a lovely discussion about CO2. Kelly challenged me today. She said,
"You were on a live stream. When I saw that?" Was I walking or was I out in the tub?
You're swimming with the baby.
Oh.
She said, "You're not going to be able to win an international contest without CO2." And I just simply said, "Watch me."
Oh.
And not win,
Me too.
not win, but place well.
Yeah.
The challenge is place well. Okay.
Okay. Did you make sure to
No.
asterisk that?
No, but if it gets serious, what's today's date? It is Cinco de Mayo, 2025.
There's a lot of plants that you actually
go
don't need
to
in
their
that.
stream, and we will see. The proof is in the pudding.
One of the-
it's on record.
One of the aquascapes I won barely had plants in it.
I'm sure
and
I
some
had
of them
CO2,
were
though.
like, I mean, the whole top could have just been like Carlo.
I've seen one of the tanks that I thought could be achievable without CO2, with the CO2, and it was an overground forest compared to what it looked like on show day. So I have a different method, and I think my tank's only going to be up for like a week.
I don't even know where to begin with this conversation. You can tell by the fear. My one tank that's not even going to have plants in it will be running longer than that. So I don't understand how, like, you think you're going to have a successful tank for the competition. Like, that's going to blow my mind. But anyways, mine isn't even going to have plants in it. So I don't need CO2.
I might run my tank for like 2 months with just hardscape and no lights.
A week-old IA PLC tank. My second Shelby slow. Thank you. Make sure to look at you again.
Have you seen some
Steven.
of the tanks though that score in like the top 1,000 still?
No, I mean that's 1,000, but he said top 100 is pretty damn good. Let's go for that.
If that's what it is, I'm pretty sure there's only like 3 people in the United States that have made it into that. Maybe it's more than that, but I think a pretty damn good score is top 300.
Yes,
that's respectable.
Okay.
So
I mean, you're really no one's gonna care about you.
And if it was a couple years ago, I would say top 100. But
your
in the
friends
last,
will care if you came in the top 300.
In the last,
be the 4th. I better be the 4th. I'm racing him to be the next one in the U.S. I'm racing him for sure. I have 2 tanks that are already going to be specifically set up for
tomorrow,
that, and then one is for a different contest. Where did you even get that? What is that? Oh, it's for the frog.
Thing for the frog. I don't know why it's over here.
I'm like, what is that?
So tomorrow, you focus on the kitchen,
nice.
And then we'll go get groceries for the week. And
can we not talk about our day?
I'll knock out
stream for
the garage at the same time and get the studio done. Because Steven, I'm going to need you to do something here for me, please. I need you to stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm in the middle of a live stream here. I'm reaching out to a friend for a favor. Can you give me the due date, the final date time for the IAPCL
you can't even say it right.
contest? The International Plant Layout.
Be like, don't even let him
Plant and Layout Contest. Jesus. Can you find out that date for me?
Mike
said, yeah.
Are you allowed to hang driftwood on the edge of the tank in contests? So
nothing counts on the score sheets outside of the box. There are contests, I believe, where they do grade outside of the box, but the ones that we enter, it's just within the frame. There was a time where Mark Chen got not best of show. I'm so sorry. Most creative because his branch was glued, so it looked like it went through the glass, but he didn't place.
Yeah, that actually frustrated me so much because I was like, how did you get an award for something that's supposed to be a disqualification? Like that, it's not disqualification. Sorry, not to be judged, and they judged it. I'm sorry. Oh man. That contest was like all out the window. Sometimes that can happen. Stephen P said, "How far down do I have to go to get 5 people from the U.S.?" It's quite a bit. May 31st, applications are due. I already knew that. That's why I've been trying to get my tank set ready. That's not even a month. That's 3 weeks. You're not going to be able to get it done. We're just going to enter the Aquascaping tank.
No, this is definitely doable. This is so we can get home from Aquascaping Dallas and just do it. Oh, mine's doable. I only want a week.
Bro.
How mad will everybody be if I beat them and I'm like, yeah, I only did 13 hours of time still on.
I'm going to laugh so hard if it's like...
If it's horrible, it's horrible.
I'm going to plaster it everywhere.
I won't post it if it's horrible. I'll be like, I never did it.
I'm plastering it everywhere. I'll be like, look what Grant did, and he thought he could do it.
I'm just going to get my wood sinking now.
Oh, you're doing what?
You know what wood? I bought the wood. I already have the scape layout done.
Waste all that.
All of that, wasting all of that?
You
hear zero confidence in me. If I'm going to waste it.
Can you name it Boost Hole?
Boost Hole? No.
There's quite a lot of Boost Hole throughout it. That would be a great name.
It's going to be Boost Buffer. It's time!
It's time! And I just
for no CO2.
But yeah, there's not that many people. There was I thought it was the specific contest had like a map where you could see who placed, or like a column where like you could go to the USA, to India. Like I thought there was columns in this website, but I must be wrong. But you could see like who placed in what place.
I think AGA is that.
Maybe.
I think AGA
Someone
has the
has
top
it really
100
good
for each country.
No CO2, no first, no lights.
No. I need the lights.
Is there anything you miss or feel is lessened by being a professional shrimp keeper as opposed to a hobbyist? A lot. Sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming because becoming more of a breeder than a hobbyist. So that's why sometimes we kind of take a step back. Like I took away all my fish to take a step back to get everything back in order before I try to add more. I was overly confident that we could do more. I was wrong. Why does it look like our internet's completely off? That's so weird. But that box looks like it's completely off. No, it's on. I'm just blind.
I didn't plug in the internet tonight. So if our internet's better tonight, let us know.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
All
right. So
stronger.
I thought about this question, and I think if I was more of a hobbyist and less of trying to breed everything, I would have more focused. I have a couple of regrets in the hobby. One of them is not breeding out the mutation of the Super Princess bees. But I spent a lot of hard work on that, trying to get that to work still.
I think it was weak genetics.
I don't know. Maybe I could have gotten that going. Maybe I could have kept like the blue bees or the galaxies, tigers or something like that going that are no longer in the hobby or anything like that. But I would have had to focus more on just one thing. And if I had focused on just one thing, maybe I'd have like just been known for like orange-eyed this or a pinto or something like that, where I don't think I'm really known for any specific shrimp. I think I'm just known for having them all.
You're not known.
So I think that would be different.
I gotta humble you a little bit. Someone's gotta do it. Yeah, I do think that if you were a hobbyist, instead of breeding it all out, that you would have had a lot more varieties of specific.
I think I had less varieties,
shrimp.
But
no, I feel like it would be more honed for certain ones. Instead of having 6 tangerine tiger tanks, you would have had more tanks for different types of shrimp. So, like, imagine the amount of wasted space that we're doing for crystals and tangerine tigers and things that people want. Not necessarily what you want. So you would still have a lot of varieties. You would be having different genetics. You would have had different shrimp, but we've had to completely. I mean, we've got tubs upon tubs upon tubs of red cherries that still aren't breeding enough for us to keep up with the demands of red cherries. Now imagine if we could have done like a huge greenhouse out there for Caridina, you know, like, I don't know, like AC'd it because we didn't spend the money on anything to make none of those totes. All
I
that
wouldn't
money
do
went
that
into an
though.
AC
I
building.
wouldn't do that
Into
though,
an AC building?
unless I was doing it commercially.
Yeah, I guess that's true. There's a lot to think about with that, but I think we enjoy the fact that we get to spread the hobby everywhere else. So, Zach said, "Have you ever thought about linking all of your totes together to flow into one bog system? Yeah, bog system. Maybe use a tote as a bag filtration media container. Been thinking about the idea of doing it. Not sure."
Every single system that I've seen where the shrimp can have access to another body of water, there's shrimp mixed into every single body of water. And for us, we've got blue, black, yellow, snowball, green, light blue, red, all on the same line. There would be wilds in all of them if they were all
I
linked
already
up
have
together.
it happen with tanks that have it halfway full. I have had shrimp travel, and I already know this because this is a reason I have discovered why a blue tank is now not a blue tank anymore and has now become a wild pond for me, because we have had orange travel from one pond to another pond, and these are never full all the way. These are halfway full. How they got there, absolutely no idea. They do travel. So not only that, besides the point of them traveling, the other issue could be if there's something wrong with one tank, you're now infesting all the other tanks. So that's the only issues. Like, say you had a mass die off for who knows what reason. Maybe you overfed that system and that all of a sudden the ammonia spiked and all of them died. Now you just spread ammonia to all the other tanks and you have die-offs everywhere. It's just never good. We have noticed this in fish stores all the time when they have some systems, and it's never efficient. We had talked to one of the owners that had taken over the pet store that had constantly death after death after death after death. Like, every time you came in there was just dead fish everywhere. And we had told the new owners about the fact that we use sponge filters for all our tanks so we don't have cross-contamination, and they changed all to it. They didn't do sponge filters. They did all hang on the back, which is more expensive, which is crazy to me. But then you're not cross-contaminating, and they had way more success with their fish and was able to take care of them, because now they're not, this fish got ick, but the other bag of fish that came from the same place didn't. So they were having healthier fish in the long run. So to me, putting it all together is never a good idea regardless. It's just a safe fail. So if something is wrong with one of them, that not all of them were going to get the problem.
Yeah. The only thing that I wanted to do was fill them all up on one line. And I can do that by dropping the line in from the top. So I did that on the one side. We filmed an entire video to post all of that. I just have not had a chance to voice over it.
Essie for the ponds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the mic. That was the second video, and it's only like half of it is not good. That's annoying. That's why if you ever start to do YouTube, do not cheap out on your mics. For some reason, one of them just decided to stop working altogether, and hours of filming now turned into hours more of filming and editing because they stopped working. Essie cut off Melissa Steven, if you want light, all you need is the sun and some strategically placed mirrors around the house. And Steven said, I find curved mirrors really focus that life a lot better. Jody said, I'd like to set up a tank for Caridina shrimp. What is the best Caridina shrimp to start with?
Tangerine tiger is by far the most hardy, the easiest ones to adapt to and get going. Crystals, Tybees, Tank Tide, these are all great ones as well. Not everybody likes an orange shrimp, so there are other options. Yellow King Kong is another fantastic one also. Raccoon Tiger, Stardust, phenomenal.
you, JF. So when we do water changes, the water we are putting back is 7.0 at best. So if we do a 50%, would we be raising that pH 1 point? And if we do that often, we won't be staying below 6 pH.
So when I'm doing my water changes, there's two reasons why I slowly fill up the water. One of them is because of the disruption of the substrate will kick up and create an issue, most likely a bacterial infection with the shrimp, and can cause death. The second one is to give that water time to react with the substrate, and it'll buffer and lower the pH. You're not going to get it ideal. It's going to raise a little bit, but that change for that brief amount of time isn't that much of a shock. And I haven't like tested it to figure out how high the pH is when I do my water changes, like a 50% water change. Maybe that's something we should check on in the future, but I've never had any issues because of how slow we fill up the tanks. So I think the next thing that needs to be talked about, ball is now in your court on what we did yesterday.
Oh, I think what we did. I'm so sleepy, and she's burning up on me.
I got her.
Take this heating. Oh no, my arm is stiff. Sorry, held it in one position for too long. Your arm just gets super stiff. So yesterday we went to Juniper Botanical Gardens, and it was phenomenal. I was super happy. So that was kind of a good little Mother's Day gift for me. I really enjoy botanical gardens and seeing different varieties of plants. My mother owned a florist shop growing up. I didn't get to see it, but she sold it before like I got old enough to know. But growing up, flowers was like our big thing. So it's really cool to go see botanical gardens and enjoy it. And the different type of flowers that grow in different areas, like peonies are really beautiful, but we don't really have them in Florida. Like they probably grow, people probably have some, but they're not like common. They're not all over the place. You would not see them. So those are really beautiful, and those were everywhere. But like there were so many different. They even had the bog plants, which is funny because we have them here, but it's still beautiful to see them. They had a man-made waterfall that was really cool. I think it went through most of the park too. Little bridges over it.
I think it was
fish.
more. It was like set up with their irrigation system.
Yeah, it was
so
really cool.
the overflow to the bottom pond overflowed where all the other irrigation goes, and I bet you there's a pump at that bottom bog that they use to water all those top plants.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous. If you're ever in North Carolina in that area, I would recommend it. And you'd think you'd want to really go to a botanical. You have to plan it out right.
You got to check into it because we ended up just being super lucky, and they had open house that weekend. Yeah. It's not always open. I think they only do like an open house for every season.
Yeah.
Probably not for winter. So it's probably only open like 3 times a year.
It was a summer open house, and there's probably like a fall open house.
Yeah.
I would assume that they're trying to sell most of the plants before they close down. But it was not only a botanical garden, but a huge nursery too. So like you got to see the plants and then potentially buy the plants that you saw. My overall favorite one was actually in my profile picture on Facebook. They did not have that. It's called a keepsake. And it's pretty rare. It's beautiful. It looked unreal. Like it was from a different planet. Like if aliens were real, they're bringing us flowers. Okay. Way different. Grant found the coolest flower that was around a pond, and I tried finding that one for him.
I think I can get that from the nursery.
Yeah, it is.
I feel
so
like that's
little.
a common
And little tiny blue flowers. It actually looks like one of the weeds that grow out in our front yard, which is a flower. People buy them all the time, which is crazy to me. I'm like, I'll just go take a plant from somewhere on the side of the road and just break it off and put it in your yard. You'll have hundreds of them next year. Ours grew from someone's house into the ditch, into our yard. So it travels very fast. But it was, and then Grant got me a beautiful tree that is a hybrid tree, which I would not be able to find here. And for that price, which was really good. So I'm hoping that will grow up and give us some really cool flowers. It was stunning. QJF said pure white line and black rose shrimp arrived well and already are fattening up a bit. Oh, wonderful to hear. Love that. Mike said one day we'll wake enough not to refer to plants as weeds. Maybe, hopefully. That I don't think that they're weeds. I love them. I keep them around. There's a lot of different flowers that I keep, especially for the birds and the bees is what I meant to say.
I need to do more research because when I used to do landscaping, I took on this one job for a botanist, and he liked to point out all these stupid little plants all over the place, right? And one of the ones that he planted out it's a weed. It grows in everybody's lawn here in Florida. I can walk all over the place and find it. But it's what he says is the world's smallest orchid.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
so beautiful.
I don't know if it's the world's smallest orchid flower because I look at the world's smallest orchid and it's a different plant and it definitely looks like an orchid, but the flower is bigger, but the plant overall is real tiny.
Mm-hmm.
This plant can carpet like an entire mat, like 4x4, maybe even bigger. So it could be the world's biggest orchid with the world's smallest flower. It might not even be an orchid. And this guy might have just been crazy. But I feel
That's
like he did all of the roadside.
It is on my walk, so I'll Google the picture for you because that wasn't existent back when we used to talk about it.
But
It might have, but I never used it.
He did all of the Pasco County like planting, all of the flower beds, the palm trees, everything. So he's pretty knowledgeable.
Stony Scapes, how are you doing? Feels like it's been forever since I've seen your name. I hope you're doing well. Said aloha. I have been wondering if using Rapashi powder, is it a good option for feeding my Neo tank and all the shrimplets?
So the Rapashi shrimp foods or the Rapashi foods are a great food. Using the powder though, I feel like it just creates more issues, just like all the other powdered foods. So if you're willing to put in the effort to make the Rapashi foods, all power for you. I think they're a great little food line. No complaints there other than I'm lazy and I'm not about to make my shrimps food like that.
Like I said, all plants matter. I think the craziest thing to me is how, we've discussed over the years the grass, the lawns, that why do we need grass lawns? So to me, for children to play like soccer or sports, yes, by all means, have a nice, beautiful, grassy lawn. But if you don't have that, I feel like you should just convert your yard into, plants, citrus, things like that can help feed the neighborhood. We can grow, and what a world we could live in if we could grow different fruits on one street and be able to share with all of our neighbors instead of spending hundreds of dollars on them for them to go bad anyways in the fridge most of the time.
There is a succulent, however, that was really cool, and it would be really cool if you could get it to take over your lawn. And I don't want to do it in this house.
Oh, it's so cool.
However, if I were to live
I don't have it.
In a place where I know I'm going to live there for a decade or more, I would start with a cropping in one corner or maybe in the center of the lawn. And I would weed around it every day and try to get this thing to cover it. And then once it's fully carpeted, you never have to cut your grass, and you'll probably have the coolest looking yard all year round.
Yeah, it was incredible. It looks so fake, as if it was a Dr. Seuss lawn. Mike said, "Did you see the Aquarium Co-op expansion video? Would you ever go?" We would definitely go to see Aquarium Co-op for sure. We did not see I did not see the video. I don't know. We have not had time. I barely even got to emails and sending out the right stickers. I have now ordered these stickers they should be here for the show. So if you are coming to Aquashella, please remember to come up to us. Let us know that you're a YouTube subscriber, and you get a YouTube subscriber only sticker. That is not a member sticker. It is a subscriber sticker. So that one's exciting. We should have had these a while ago. And we have 2 different stickers that are going to be for that. And so, but for sure, I would definitely go see that.
If we did like the Fishtoberfest or spoke for their club or anything like that, and we were in the area, I'm pretty sure I'd have to go see Dean. And we'd probably
spend a whole day with Dean.
For sure, go see the Aquarium Co-op store and hang out with Corey as well.
Yeah. Another thing that people have been wondering, we have had some funny incidences lately because we have been adding shrimp to the rack finally. If you've been watching our shorts, you would know that we've added at least 5 tanks worth of shrimp. And the specific one is Galaxy Pintos that we just did a Pokemon short of. And like within the hour, one of the shrimps was in the filter immediately. So me and Grant were like, are we going to find out? Are we going to find out? So he did. Did you record it? Or no, I recorded it and wanted to see. And I mean, within maybe 30 minutes, I came back and one of the other shrimp actually looked like it was trying to help it out. Like it was like picking at its tail and like grabbing. It was so comical, but it was just bothering it because it could. And it got out. And we've had a couple other bigger shrimp go in. They're coming right back out. I mean, there might be one that will get stuck eventually, but so far they've all made it back out. No issues. I use Extreme Flake. Is there any reason I shouldn't? Is Extreme Flake food the one that has the copper in it?
I'm not.
I don't think it's that bad of copper.
I'm not sure.
Content.
I know there's a bit of drama.
I mean, we've used it
behind the Extreme food line. I can't remember if they changed formula or what exactly it was, but I haven't personally used Extreme Flake.
I mean, I've used it to feed my tanks that have wilds in it, and they're perfectly fine. But as a main source of food, I would not. I think the reason people have said that it's not good is because it has too much
fillers.
Yeah, fillers and copper in it. And I don't have the specific.
We haven't had it for a while. So if they change formula or anything like that, it was the old formula that we had for sure.
Yeah, that's true. There might be something. So that would be a question from more of someone that feeds their fish regularly and seeing if there was any difference in their shrimp. I don't know anyone specifically. And it was Nana Petite Lawn for me. That would be so cool. A guy can dream. I feel like I would like, if I was to have any aquarium plant for grass, it would be Utricularia gramifolia.
Still like dwarf baby tears though.
No, the Utricula is so much softer than baby tears by a mile. By a mile. Could you imagine? It would be like a pillow. Like it'd be so soft.
Wet and soggy. You'd have to have it wet and soggy.
This is saying if it was a lawn.
A bed.
As a lawn, if it was able to be a lawn.
Right. I'm picking dwarf baby tears.
I'm picking Utricularia.
You got soggy back. I'm telling you.
It wouldn't be soggy because it wouldn't need those conditions to survive as a lawn, is what I'm saying. It would just be that soft, grassy feeling to it.
All right.
Do you even have any here?
All right, we're gonna get a man-sized pot, like a flat bed pot, and you grow your UG, and I'll grow, and I know I can grow my baby tears.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see whose lawn's better, and we'll bring it to one of the club
Oh
meetings,
my goodness!
and you guys can lay down in it, and you can tell us who wins.
Dr. Anna said, I did invite you to Oktoberfest.
You gotta order another one. She's going through another one of these.
Oh my goodness.
Poor turtle. She is destroying this thing. But if you have
This
kids
is the second one.
and you don't have one of these Nubifier pacifier, what is it?
This is the Wobbenubs.
All right, whatever it's
There's
called.
a lot of different
It
brands.
sits on them, so when it comes out of their mouth, they don't have to chase it and find it. They just grab their stuffed animal. So.
Really good for hand coordination too, because they learn early to give it to themselves. But she's tearing it up. She's ripping it off.
It's kind of meant to do that because when they're done teething, you can take this off and just give them the stuffed animal.
Mm-hmm. That helped a lot with our son. The first birthday is when we take away the pacifier. All we did was cut the pacifier off and then give the turtle, and it comforts them.
Layla didn't need it. She was done with the pacifier at like 9 months.
Yeah, she hated it. But said, but no, Aquashella is more important.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately,
we have signed our name away to the shrimp contest. So we have made a deal with the devil to forever continue the shrimp hobby on display. But no, there's a couple of things that have come up where we've not wanted to travel as much, and sadly, Aquashella just isn't one of those shows that we're willing to like sacrifice to cancel because there's so much that comes out off of it. We started Aquashella when we were just 1,000 subs, and now we're both featured speakers. And well, you're a featured speaker. I was for the last one. Okay. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
For the Keystone.
I'm talking about Aquashella.
I'm not a featured speaker.
They just made a post today with you as a featured speaker.
Because I look prettier than you.
All right. Well, whatever.
Just
but I'm sure she will be speaking. We have won several awards. I feel like when we walk around Aquashella, we're walking around a bunch of family members as well. There's a lot of people that go to that show that really look out for us, like Vibes and New Local Austin's going to be there.
Yeah, we've met
just
a lot
about
of
every show. We're going to have to make new groups at Jersey and LA, but there's the vendors and the staff that are always going to be there, and the actual display and the ability to put on a shrimp show for a new audience is something we can't turn down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of these times, hopefully. But yeah, we have to pick and choose our shows, and I think next year we might have to number those down a little bit more, at least until the kids are a little bit older, and then like a little bit more independent.
Keystone Clash, though, Aquashella, don't worry, they're not off the chop. They're not even considered to be on the chopping block.
Yeah, I would say that about the Keystone Clash. It is not on the chopping block.
Aquashella is? We already discussed this. Aquashella is not on the chopping block.
I love Aquashella, but it is the most stressful one for me. It really is. I cannot go.
It's got the most reward.
If
you ask me.
Yes, I don't care.
The Aquascaping wins.
The Aquascaping's the best part.
The shows.
I'm taking neither. That's
the people.
Too much work. Yeah. I think you could do Anubis for real, but if we're picking anything for long, Subwasser Tang. Oh,
Subwasser Tang would only grow on a rock.
So
You'd have
crunchy.
Concrete and slimy, moldy.
It can't just only grow on a rock.
It's not going to grow on dirt outside.
Grant, you're not understanding the concept here. The concept is if you could,
right?
The texture without anything else. It's just a magical freaking plant that we put outside and it's going to grow on our whole lawn.
I could do Dwarf Baby Tears. I could see Utriculia grandifolia being done.
I wish you guys could have saw Myra's face. She is not
Dwarf Hairgrass being done.
Oh my god.
You're not doing Subwasser Tang unless you've got a rock bed for a garden.
You're annoying. He doesn't like to play things like that.
I'm realistic, Shelby.
Yeah.
You can dream, but you have to dream realistic.
I don't know why you watch One Piece. Like, you're just so like, how do you see the beautiful, unrealistic nature of every anime that there ever is?
It's in an anime world with anime dimension
Right.
laws.
Now, just like
we don't live in those same laws, Shelby.
Stonyscape says UG is totally a Dr. Seuss Aquascape for Aquashella. That'd be cool. I would love to do that. GNC Aquatics says Grant is very pretty himself. He is. Most people want to see him, not me.
That's not true at all.
That's so true. People are like, "Oh, you really do
Don't
have a
ask me
significant other
questions.
one? How is that even possible?"
No, but if you were watching the Pisces live stream last week, you found out why Shelby keeps me around. It's the cycle of the aquariums.
Outside in Aquatics said I made a special fish room punk sticker for VIP bags for Aquashella. I saw those. Those are cool. I think that's what I saw online. I saw a fish room punk sticker, but I don't know if it was yours.
I don't get a VIP bag though. I might have to sneak in.
Steven P said subwasser tank can grow under a rock in a corner. Yeah, I know. It can grow anywhere, honestly. Are you doing all 3 Aquashellas? Unfortunately.
Yes, we are. I'm happy about it.
Because you don't mind flying. You don't mind doing the things that you actually enjoy.
Yeah, I
loved Vegas. Don't get me wrong. Vegas was great. The process of getting there and coming back, I absolutely hated. It wasn't bad. It was actually a pleasant experience. I still did not like it. Like, I just don't want to do anything with flying. I don't appreciate someone else having my life in their hands. If it's on me, it's on me. If it's on Grant, then everyone can be mad at Grant. I mean, but if it's on someone I don't know, it's, it's way too out of my control.
Still out of your control if somebody
Subwasser Tang lawn with a Madagascar lace hammock.
Yeah, see, now you're just in fairy tale dimensions.
I love
because
that.
You can't even grow Madagascar lace plant immersed.
Ooh, that would be
That's
so
not
cool.
possible.
And then giant Java ferns for like big umbrella trees, like shade. That'd be cool. Could you imagine like a whole yard full of that and then like pink flamingo crypts running through it just to give it a little color like they're flowers?
No,
we can really keep going on.
If I want a yard, it's Pogo's Helper I down on it.
Oh, outside aquatics says I'll make sure you guys get them.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget to ask for our stickers too, because we're bad and we're not going to put these ones all on the table. I spent a little bit more money on these bigger ones, so these ones will be going strictly. We want to appreciate the subscribers that stick around and actually watch us.
We bought like 5,000 stickers.
More than that.
7,000 stickers.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000.
8,000 stickers.
8,000. But 1,000 of those, to be fair, are stickers no one's gonna want. Those 1/3. I could only order a minimum of 1,000. So hopefully I do 1,000 Aquascapes.
Well, nobody can get those stickers unless they buy an Aquascape.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if someone wants to take it to support my Instagram.
You're scaping shrimp tanks for Pisces?
No.
No.
Why?
Okay. Well, I thought they were shrimp tanks.
Oh, Aqua L tanks.
Yeah.
They are shrimp tanks. I am scaping a shrimp tank. Let's put that all together. Sorry. Yes, they were Aqua L shrimp tanks. So yes.
I saw that memo today.
Oh, okay. I put some water tank in my pillow last week, and it's still soft and fluffy. No way. So water tang is so crunchy. It is like a Fritos when you're out of the water, okay? I know because I've let it sit out for a minute, and then I go to like grab it. Okay, I do a lot of tank maintenance that pisses Grant off. I mean, he'll come over and he's like, "What are you doing?" Because I pull all the plants out and I put them on top, and they kind of get a little dry. Water tank gets real crispy real fast, and it drives him crazy how much I do that.
But the tank maintenance I do, she has no problems with at all. Perfectly great.
Flawless. Let's rewind that. It is not. I absolutely hate the way he does the water changes.
So remember that when you do your water changes next time.
We both mutually do not like the way. Just don't look. Look the other way. That's what I do. I've been walking the other way. That's why you don't hear me complaining. Mike says, now you're talking. Waterbed of subwater tank. Oh, that'd be kind of cool, though.
I don't know.
Oh, in a pillowcase, like if you kept it like all growing in a water pillow. You know, I'm coming up with some great ideas. I might have to find a clear pillowcase.
What happened to my clear duffel bag? We never put that to use. I bought so much stupid stuff. I never
that was
used
like
it.
years ago, so we could definitely say this. But because I have no idea where it is either. He bought a clear duffel bag because like
It
who
holds
wants it?
water.
First of all, it's in the.
Hold on,
it
it's a
came
water
from-
bag.
Yeah,
For like working out.
it came from.
But it's clear.
Ross, because they always have like cheap workout stuff, so we just buy stuff there. It's like $5. $5 here or there, and it was supposed to be for a video.
It was
and he
supposed
was gonna
to be part of my Halloween gift, but I got hurt and sick, or I can't remember what happened during Halloween. I was hurt.
There's always something wrong with you on Halloween. It seems like, and but he was supposed to fill it up completely with water and put shrimp in it and plants in it and carry it around. And that never ended up happening. That was so sad. There's a lot of things. I have another thing I was supposed to like Aquascape. We have this like cheap waterfall because Big Lots was a thing. We just buy all these really. It's like, what are you doing? Mommy.
Aw. No, I caught her. It's fine.
You just can't.
She wants you. I lose this one. I'll win the next one. You have it.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You took everything.
No. But yeah, Big Lots was so it's all gone. But it would always have like cheap little $2, $5 things. Grant bought a waterfall. That thing is still chilling. That was at least 6 years ago. Waterfall. I don't even know what it's for at this point.
We were gonna do this like little $5 challenge, escape challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No, we got
We got a lot of
ideas.
stupid
We need to
things.
execute them. But
It's
I
funny
think
when we find it and we're like, oh, what was this for?
I think that's going to be it for tonight. The baby's getting a little bit cranky. It's probably time
Ready
for us
for
to get to
snuggles.
bed. So make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe. Join us next week. We've got Dr. Anthony visiting us this week. I'm probably going to get a studio done and start working on this tank for that little Aquascape contest thing that I got to do before the end of the month. So no big deal. But yeah,
Aw.
you guys take care. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you, Toop Dog, for those membership donations in the beginning. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good night. Thank you so much.